ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। How can we acquire knowledge? So let's talk about this topic today. See, first and foremost, we should understand what is knowledge. People who are literate can understand very easily what is knowledge. Are we literate or illiterate? What do you say? Literate. Everyone says that. But then the Vedic scriptures say that all of us are illiterate. Because according to Vedic scriptures, literacy or being literate, it does not mean having a degree of BTech, MTech, PhD. It means we know Vedic scriptures in and out. We know the Deva Bhasha, that's called as Sanskrit. We should know all the Vedic scriptures. Then we'll be called as literate. Similarly, when we talk about knowledge, we have to understand whenever this word knowledge comes into picture, is it talking about material knowledge, spiritual knowledge? And the answer is spiritual knowledge. Why so much of importance given to spiritual knowledge? Material knowledge, whatever we gain in this world, in fact that is called as Udar Bharan Vidya. Udar means pet. Sometimes people say, no, papi pet ka sawal hai. Udar Bharan. So that Vidya which will help us to fill our belly, that's called as Udar Bharan Vidya. And that's what is material knowledge all about. And you know what? Material knowledge binds a person to this material world. Lifetime after lifetime, it binds the person to the material world. Whereas when it comes to spiritual knowledge, it has the power to liberate the person from this material world. So there's a great difference between the two. And those who are literate can understand this very clearly. And by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, all of us, even when we are not literate, but since he has translated from Dev Bhasha to Mlecha Bhasha, that is English, we are able to read and understand what it is. Therefore, this understanding is very important, that knowledge means spiritual knowledge, and the spiritual knowledge has the power to liberate each one of us. So now the question comes, what is this spiritual knowledge? Before that, an important understanding. Difference between information, understanding and knowledge, or I should say realization. Information, when we come here, we all get information. You can note it down and then revise it. That's called information. And there's a deeper thing than information is understanding, where you understand the subject matter. You implement that in your day-to-day life. Realization is much higher. You are able to see the truth as mentioned in the scriptures. A very nice analogy which I am remembering. Say a blind man, he's there in his place, in his house. So when he touches different things in the house, he has information. He knows, yahan bed hai, yahan sofa hai, chair, table. He has information. When someone enters that room, he understands that someone has entered the room. And when he undergoes the eye operation and he opens his eyes, that's the realization. He sees the world as it is. So here is the difference between information, understanding and realization. And it's very, very important to have knowledge. And this knowledge, we are always talking on the level of understanding and realization. Information is good. That's how everything begins. So what is this knowledge all about? What is spiritual knowledge all about? 5 things. As soon as you talk about spiritual knowledge, 5 things should be very clear. First one is our identity. Therefore, you see, as soon as we come to the newcomers programs, the first topic that is discussed is we are not the body, we are spirit soul. Identity. Who am I? Second, who is God? That is Lord's identity. Third, what is my relationship with the Lord? That is the third thing. Relationship. Fourth one, reality of this world. What is the reality of this world? In fact, after spending some years in this world, we will understand the reality anyways. In fact, one thing that we have seen is those people, it doesn't happen with everyone, but those pious people who are married, having kids, they take up to bhakti very quickly. बहुत पिटाई हुआ रहता है ना पूरे टाइम. Right from the young age, to then youth and then the adulthood and then you get married and then everyone beats. But when it comes to youth, this particular age, so at that time, taking a bhakti becomes very difficult. Why? There's not much beatings, not much realization of this world. In fact, when it comes to corporate professionals, still I feel they're okay. College students, they're in the world, they're in the mood of exploring the world. ये करके देखते, वो करके देखते, so much distracted. So the point is that understanding the reality of this world is very, very important to gain the knowledge. But this itself is a knowledge for that matter. Yes. And the fifth one is understanding the reality of that world, that spiritual world. Because only when you understand what's the destination, why this human form, then we can easily advance on spiritual path. Therefore, these are the 5 subject matters which each one of us have to understand. First one, our identity. Second, identity of the Lord. Third, relationship with the Lord, our relationship with the Lord. Fourth, reality of this world. Fifth, reality of that world. These are the 5 subject matters. So as soon as we say spiritual knowledge, it all revolves around these 5 subject matters. And specifically the first 3. That is our identity, Lord's identity and our relationship with the Lord. Very, very important. So now, how to receive this knowledge is a very, very important question. And that is what is subject matter of today. It is received through spiritual channel. Now see, pramanas we have already heard. Pratyaksha praman, that is seeing is believing. Now through seeing is believing, we cannot get spiritual knowledge. Why we cannot get spiritual knowledge? Yes. Seeing is believing. What's the problem? 4 defects human beings have. Imperfect senses. Second, we are easily illusioned. Third, cheating propensity. And fourth, tendency to commit mistakes. So these 4 defects makes a human being defective. Then how can a defective personality see and then believe things? So it's a very important point to note. Seeing is believing is actually a great illusion because it's very much known even by atheistic scientists. They say that human beings can perceive only 1% of the entire creation. 99% is not seen. I'm not talking about theistic ones, I'm talking about atheistic ones. They say this. Therefore, seeing is believing doesn't work. Pratyaksha praman doesn't work. Second is Anuman praman. By guesswork, I'll try to get spiritual knowledge. Maybe, perhaps, I feel. Many times when you meet people, they say, I feel that God is like this. I feel that God is like that. We had been to one award function and there a person gave the definition of God. The definition of God according to that person was anything that helps us to remain happy, that is God. And very nice. This is called utter ignorance. You see. So this is guesswork. By Anuman Praman, we can never get spiritual knowledge, not possible. So Pratyaksha Praman, seeing is believing, gone. Anuman Praman, guesswork, gone. Therefore, many times when people ask me the question that, according to you, what do you feel about this subject matter? I said, I don't have any personal opinion of mine. I'll tell you something from Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman means Vedic scriptures. And that is perfect. Why Vedic scriptures are perfect? Who gave it? The Supreme Lord Himself has given. As Vyasadeva, He has penned it down for all of us. And therefore, since these are the words of Lord, it is called as Apaurushaya, transcendental, perfect. So now the subject matter that is given in the Vedic scriptures is perfect. And that is spiritual knowledge. So now comes a very important point. So how to receive the spiritual knowledge? There is a channel that is needed. We cannot just receive it like that. Many times it happens that people say, I'll read and understand it myself. Oh, that's very nice. But this is not a novel. There's not some formula given in math. There's something more deeper. More, very much. Much more greater and deeper than what we can comprehend. Very, very deep. Therefore, we have to understand it from those people who have realized it. Information, understanding, realization. Those people have realized it. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is making a very important point about this channel through which we receive spiritual knowledge. Please repeat. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manur Ikshvaka Vebravit. So here Lord is telling that I gave this knowledge. To whom you gave the knowledge? See the word Vivaswan. You know who is Vivaswan? Who is Vivaswan? Vivaswan is Sun God. So he's saying, I gave the knowledge to Sun God long time back. And after that what? Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam. And whom did Vivaswan give it to? Vivaswan, he gave it to Manu, the father of mankind. Therefore we are called as Manushya, coming from the word Manu. And Manave Praha Manur, whom did Manu give this knowledge to? Ikshvaku. He gave it to Ikshvaku. And in this way the knowledge came down. So there is one line, one lineage. And this is called as Guru-disciplic succession. And you know, Krishna is so much interested in this Guru-disciplic succession. Just in the next shloka, 4.2, Krishna is saying, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarashayo viduho sakale neha mahata yogo nashtah parantapa. So Krishna is telling Arjun, hey Arjun, this is how knowledge is received. And this is called as parampara. See the word parampara in the shloka. This is called as parampara. Which parampara? This is Guru disciplic succession. Guru Shishya parampara. So whatever knowledge, and whenever we say knowledge, we have to be very clear. We're talking about spiritual knowledge. So whatever knowledge we want to receive, it has to be received in Guru Shishya parampara. So maybe Arjun had a question. What if this chain of selfless people, the great personalities, break in between? What will happen, O Krishna? How will people get knowledge in this world? And see what Krishna is saying. Sakale neha mahata yogo nashtha parantapa. Since the lineage is broken, therefore, hey Arjun, I am giving this knowledge directly to you. I am fixing the lineage. Look at how much importance Krishna is giving to this Guru-disciplic succession. Whenever it breaks, Krishna personally comes to fix it. Therefore, this is called as perfect channel. Perfect channel to receive spiritual knowledge. Perfect channel. Guru-disciplic succession. Now see, in Arjuna's case, Krishna directly spoke to Arjuna. Like for example, in chapter 7, shloka 1, Krishna is saying, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Sakta Manha Partha Yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yatha jnasati tachshruno. See the word tachshruno. Hey Arjun, hear me carefully. Krishna is personally speaking to Arjun. So sometimes people say, see, Arjun was so fortunate. Krishna was directly present and Krishna was instructing and Arjun was hearing directly. But what about us? What will happen to us? Now, there's no question of having Krishna's direct association. But you know what? Whatever knowledge Arjun received from Krishna directly, the same knowledge we can also get it. And that we can get it through this Guru disciplic succession. If we can receive this knowledge from the bona fide representative of Krishna, we will receive the same knowledge what Arjun received. Therefore, what is the channel to receive spiritual knowledge? And the answer is Guru disciplic succession. 4 such successions which are documented in Padma Purana. First, Brahma Sampradaya. Second, Shri Sampradaya. Third, Rudra Sampradaya. And fourth, Kumara Sampradaya. So these are the 4 lineages. And all 4 are bona fide. We can accept one and strictly follow that. And all of us, we are very, very fortunate that we have got connected to one of these 4, that is Brahma Sampradaya. So we are called as Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So this is what is the name that is given to us. This is the lineage. So, a very important point to note, if I want to receive spiritual knowledge, scriptures are available. But still, I have to approach one of the personalities in this Guru disciplic succession. And from that personality, I'll be able to understand better. What's the problem if I read it directly and understand it directly? What is the problem? Will I be able to understand or no? No. Little bit at least. Little bit will be able to understand. But that little bit that we have understood is right or wrong, that is also a question. Because we can give our own interpretations. That is the problem here. So therefore, when we hear from the disciplic succession, what happens is we understand that what is that subject matter all about? How to understand that subject matter? And more importantly, how to implement that subject matter in our day-to-day life. Because these people who are realized, they can tell us better because they have implemented, they have experienced. Therefore, we have to learn from Guru disciplic succession. So much of importance is given to Guru disciplic succession. But unfortunately, when it comes to modern age, especially this age that is going on, dark age, people feel that if you invent something new, that is very, very nice. Why follow someone else? When I was distributing books on the street, I was convincing one person, please take a Bhagavad Gita. You know what he said? No, I don't want. I said, why? He said, I'll write my own. Look at these people. Oh. Tell me, is there any chance of such people to advance in bhakti? Gone. Someone saying that I will write it myself, that itself goes on to say how much ignorance that person is into. With this defect that we have, how can we think of writing a spiritual subject matter and how can we expect that to be perfect? Very, very unfortunate, you see. Therefore, we have to understand what is the qualification of the person who can receive the knowledge. One is we understood what is knowledge. Then we understood the channel to receive the knowledge. So knowledge is available, channel is available, but we should be right patra. We have to be qualified to receive that knowledge. So what is the qualification to receive the knowledge, spiritual subject matter? Krishna is telling this to Arjuna. Chapter 4, Shloka 3. Please repeat. Sa evayam mayatyadya yoga proktaha puratanaha Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hyetaduttamam. So look at the shloka, so nice. It says, why Krishna is giving this knowledge to Arjun? What is the qualification of Arjun? And there are two words which are used here. First is bhakta and second is sakha. Bhakta means devotee. Sakha, friend. A very important point to understand. Friend. What do you mean by friend here? Krishna is saying, hey Arjun, you're so attached to me. You're so attached to me. That's the first qualification. He's friend. Second, devotee. Hey Arjun, you're so surrendered to me. So two things Krishna is telling here. One is, Arjun, you're attached to me. You're my friend. Second, you're my devotee because you're surrendered onto me. And third thing that he's saying is, Rahasyam hi etaduttamam. This rahasya, this is a very, very confidential secret that I'm telling you, Arjun. Now see, whenever we tell someone a confidential thing of our life, we say that it's very confidential. I'm telling only you, don't tell anyone else. And that person goes and tells, I'm telling you something don't tell someone else. But on a serious note, I will go and tell only that person a confidential subject matter whom I trust. So this also goes on to say, when Krishna is saying, Rahasyam hi etaduttamam. So this also goes on to say that Krishna is telling that this is very, very confidential knowledge which cannot be given to anyone else. But I'm giving it to you, O Arjun, because you have two important qualifications. And the first one is Bhakta, second, Sakha. You're so surrendered to me and you're so attached to me. Therefore, I'm giving this knowledge to you. And Krishna goes on to say in 9.1 Bhagavad Gita, the next qualification of a person to receive this knowledge. So what are these qualifications that so whatever qualifications we're discussing, we have to remember those so that we can become qualified. This class is all about that. Because knowledge is there. Fortunately, all of us were connected to Prabhupada now, which is a channel, Guru's Disciplic Succession. Now, there is no defect in the knowledge. There is no defect in the channel. But there's a defect in the person to receive the knowledge. And that's what we're discussing now. What is the qualification of the person to receive the knowledge? And we have discussed two of it. One is, one has to be attached to Krishna. Second, one has to be surrendered to Krishna. What is the third thing that Krishna is talking about? Look at this. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Idam tu te guhyatamam Pravakshamyanu suyave Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam Yajñatva Mokshase Shubhat. A very important word to highlight. The word is Anusuyave. Specifically, this word Anusuyave. Are you able to see Anusuyave? Where is it? It's the third line or the second line of the shloka. Anusuyave. And Anusuyave means being non-envious. So Krishna is telling Arjun, hey Arjun, I'm giving you this knowledge because you're non-envious of me. You understand being non-envious means what? Envy itself means that person has it, I don't have, even he shouldn't have. I want to take it away. I want to destroy that. That's the mood of envy. So those people who are envious of Krishna, they can never understand this knowledge. How do we understand that we are envious or no? Srila Prabhupada says that there are many commentators on Bhagavad Gita. But you know what they do? They give commentary on Bhagavad Gita and they remove Krishna from Bhagavad Gita. I sometimes wonder, how can someone remove Krishna from Bhagavad Gita? But they don't acknowledge the Lord's speech. They give their own commentary and their own concoction, whimsical thoughts. This is called enviousness, where you remove Krishna from Bhagavad Gita and you become the speaker. And in our day-to-day life also, in this world, little heavy, but you all can hear this carefully and try to comprehend. Whenever we think of enjoying anything in this world, that itself shows we are envious of Krishna. Tell me why. Everything belongs to him and he is the enjoyer. So when I want to enjoy something in this world, it means I won't take it away for myself. That's called envy. This point number one, how to understand that we are envious of Krishna. Second, when we are envious of anyone in this world, कभी-कभी होता है ना, we envy some people around. When we are envious of anyone in this world, that shows that we are envious of Krishna. Again, why? Okay, everything belongs to Lord. Something more detail you want to give to this statement? Krishna himself is telling in Bhagavad Gita. He is telling in chapter 15, shloka 7, Mamai Mamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. Each and every one, all the living entities are my part and parcel of Arjun. So when we are envious of Krishna's part and parcel, that goes on to say that we are envious of Krishna. This is a very easy way to understand, are we envious of the Lord or not? And specifically here, Krishna is telling Arjun, hey Arjun, when I am going to tell you about my glories, it's very, very confidential. And you will never tell, I'm sure you will never tell this, why is Krishna speaking about himself and blowing his own trumpet? Since you don't have this fault, therefore, I am telling you this confidential secret. Confidential knowledge is given by me to you because you are non-envious. So this is the third qualification, that is to be non-envious. So when we are non-envious of the Lord, when we are non-envious of people around, we become qualified to receive the spiritual knowledge. This is the third qualification. In fact, Krishna tells this specifically. 18th chapter, shloka 67. After the entire Bhagavad Gita discussion, Krishna is telling Arjun something very, very important. Very much in the context of our discussion. Please repeat. Idam tena tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha shushushave vachyam na cha mam yo bhyasuyati. So see, Krishna is telling that, hey Arjun, don't give this knowledge. Don't share this confidential subject matter, that is entire Bhagavad Gita. With whom I shouldn't share? Na tapaskaya, the ones who are not austere. Na bhaktaya, the ones who are not my devotees. And specifically he says the last word, abhyasuyati. This is the word that is used here. That is, don't share this knowledge with those who are envious of me. Look at what Krishna is saying. This is at the end of Gita. In Bhagavad Gita there are 18 chapters. And in the 18th chapter there are 78 shlokas. And in 67th shloka Krishna is telling us, don't give this knowledge to people who are envious of me. Therefore, this qualification is very, very important to note. Only when I am non-envious of the Lord and His part and parcels, then I become the right patra, right vessel to receive this knowledge, the spiritual knowledge. And Krishna continues. And he says in chapter 13, this comes in a group of shlokas, chapter 13, 8th shloka till 12th shloka. It's in the 12th shloka, specifically he says, very beautiful shloka. Mai chananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini vivikta desha sevitvam Aratirjana samsadi. Now Krishna is telling something very important. Now we are talking about the fourth qualification. Krishna is saying, Mai cha ananya yogena bhakti avyavicharini. So Krishna is saying, hey Arjun, who is qualified to receive the knowledge? Point number one, the ones who are unalloyed devotees of mine. They are qualified to receive this knowledge. Pure devotees. And secondly, avyavicharini. Ananya yogena avyavicharini. These are the two words which we are discussing. And he says that one should do constant devotional service. One is pure, it should be pure, and it should be constant, steady practice of bhakti. So here, who is qualified to receive the knowledge? The fourth qualification that is mentioned is the ones who steadily practice pure bhakti. Consistency is very, very important, you see. In spiritual practices or in spiritual path, one of the important point that everyone should remind oneself again and again is, if I have to advance on this spiritual path, I have to be consistent. Aisa nahi ki we practice one day and next few days just ignore it. And again we start. And we cannot say that I'm consistent once in a year. I come to Janmashtami. That is not consistency. Every single day we are consistent in our practice, steady in our practice. And what sort of bhakti? Shuddha bhakti, pure bhakti. Maybe in some other session we can discuss what is Shuddha bhakti. That is even more technical. So some other day we'll discuss on this subject matter. But you can always remember, one has to steadily practice bhakti. That is the qualification that Krishna is talking about. And Krishna talks more about the qualification. This is in chapter 4, Shloka 39. Now Krishna is giving some more wonderful qualifications of a personality who can receive knowledge, spiritual knowledge. And Krishna says, Shraddhava labhate jnanam tatparah samyatendriyah jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digacchati. So who is eligible to receive this knowledge? So Krishna talks about three important points. See the words. Shraddhavan, second. Tatparah, third. Samyatendriyah. These are the 3 points which Krishna is speaking. First one is simple. Shraddhavan. What is that? The one who is faithful. The one who is faithful, he is called a Shraddhavan. But faith in what? What do you say? Faith in? Faith in? Okay, faith in Krishna. And specifically, faith in scriptures. Faith in Vedic scriptures. Sometimes people say, नहीं हम ये सब मानते नहीं हैं. हम नहीं मानते ये सब. अरे आप मानो नहीं मानो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? How does it really matter? That goes on to say that you're not qualified. As simple as that. Because Krishna himself is saying you're Shraddhavan. Who is Shraddhavan? The one who has faith in scriptures. He is Shraddhavan. The one who has faith in the meanings of scriptures and he wants to implement that in his day-to-day life. He is called as Shraddhavan. This is the first word. Second word that he uses is Tatparaha. This is similar to what we discussed previously. That is steady in one's own spiritual practice. One has to be steady. Many times people ask me this question, how to become Shraddhavan? Because unfortunately, we have got a very nice education and that education has spoiled our Shraddha. Mind has become so complicated now. Everything we look in different angles. There is no straightforward acceptance. So the question comes, how can I develop Shraddha? How can I increase Shraddha? And the answer is Tatparaha. One has to steadily practice bhakti. And specifically Prabhupada says, in the purport, he says, by continuously chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada says, by continuously chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, all that complication that is there in the heart, the dirt that is there in the heart, all that is cleansed. And when that is cleansed, faith is naturally there with the spirit soul that will emerge. It's almost like, imagine a bulb and you put a thick blanket on it and you put one more and the next. You will not be able to see the bulb. Then you remove the first blanket. Maybe some little you'll be able to see. Then you remove the next one. More you'll be able to see. And finally you remove the last one. The light comes effulgent. You'll be able to see that effulgent light. Similarly, when it comes to us as spirit soul, faith is natural in all of us. But now the coverings that we have from many, many lifetimes, that has created a problem. So when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, these coverings are removed one after another. So remember, every time you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one after another, the layer of dirt is getting removed. How thick is the layer? What do you say? How thick is the layer? I think unlimited kilometers. Yeah. Thick, very thick from many, many lifetimes. The dirt has got accumulated. And every time we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one layer after another, it goes off. And that faith will emerge. This is what Prabhupada is saying. That is Tatparaha. Third one is Samyatendriyaha. Samyatendriyaha means one has to be sense controlled. One has to control his senses. Why sense control is so important? What do you say? What happens if I don't control my senses? As simple as eating whatever I want, seeing whatever I want, hearing whatever I want. Sometimes people say also, some bogus so-called spiritual gurus, they say, कि मन को दबाओ मत, जो मन कहता है करो. What will happen if we do that? Any idea?
Start losing faith in bhakti.
Okay, we start losing faith in bhakti. Why so? Why do you say so?
Distractions.
Okay, distraction, very nice. As soon as your senses are not under control, the first thing is you'll be distracted. Anything else? Will you be peaceful? Will be completely disturbed. Every time the eyes are looking here and there to see something. The tongue is always craving. The genitals are always craving. The ears are always craving, and so on and so forth. So all these senses, and they keep craving all the time. And if the person goes on fulfilling whatever the senses are craving for, do you think the senses will be satisfied? It's almost like you give a piece of meat to the lion. No, you give the piece of meat to the lion, and after eating that, lion looks at you and he chants, Mahaprasade Govinde. You are the next prasad for that person, that lion. Why so? Because the taste that he got, he wants more and more and more. Many times I have heard people saying, last time, after this I will not do this particular thing. I know it is sinful. Therefore, last time I will do and stop it. Is there any last time like that? Have you all seen anything, any time? Sometimes people say that I'll reduce the frequency, Prabhuji, of whatever it is. I don't want to get into the depth of dirtiness. I'll reduce the frequency. But do you think there is any point or is there any use of thinking about reducing the frequency? No. So therefore, sense control is very, very important. And that sense control will also take place when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So you see the Tatparaha word that is there between the two words, Shraddhavan and Samyatendriyaha. So by steady practice of bhakti, specifically chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, Shraddha will increase, senses will be controlled. Very, very important. Okay, till now, what are the different qualifications that we have discussed? First, attached to the Lord, that is being the friend of the Lord. Second, surrender to the Lord, that is being a devotee of the Lord. Third, non-envious. Yes, non-envious to the Lord and also is part and parcel. And fourth, Yes, steady practice. Steady practice of Shuddha Bhakti. Fifth, Shraddhavan, faithful. Sixth, sense controlled. Yes, sense controlled. In fact, Krishna goes on to highlight this point again in two shlokas. Look at how much important this point about faith is. That Krishna is repeating this again in two shlokas. In 9th chapter, shloka 3, Krishna is saying, Ashraddhadhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapyamam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. Krishna is telling very clearly that those who are ashraddhadhana Purusha, जो कोई श्रद्धावान नहीं है, the ones who don't have Shraddha, Krishna is saying, that person, aprapyamam, they can never attain me. And in our discussion, in our context, they can never attain knowledge, spiritual knowledge. In another shloka, Krishna says, chapter 4, shloka 40. Again, Krishna repeats this point about ashraddha. Agyascha shraddhadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam lokosti na paro na sukham samshayatmanah. See the first two words. Agya. Agya means ignorant. Second word. Cha ashraddhadhana. Again he is using the word ashraddha. Ashraddhadhana. It means first the ones who are ignorant and the ones who are not having faith. And see the last line. Samshayatma. Samshayatma? What do you mean by samshaya? Doubt. The Atma who always keeps doubting. The samshayatma. The person who always keeps doubting. Krishna is saying, vinashyati. That person will be destroyed. He will not be able to understand the deeper subject matters. Will he be happy? Krishna is saying that Nayam loko asti na paro na sukham. So Krishna is so clear. He is saying that in this life, no sukha. What about next life? Next life also no sukha. That's the point Krishna is talking about. Those who are ashraddhadhanaha. Therefore, faith is very, very important. Very, very important. Therefore, I always feel very fortunate. Both you and me, somehow we are blessed with faith. Somehow. Maybe past life, mercy of the Lord, mercy of some devotees, blessings that we have faith. All of us, we have faith in Bhagavad Gita and the Vedic scriptures, therefore we are sitting here. So many people I meet, and just by talking to them little bit, it's very easy to understand. Zero faith. In fact, I can also say tending negative. That is the situation of many people in this world. But look at our great fortune. Therefore, I always tell this, that somehow by Lord's mercy in this life, we have got the great treasure of faith. We have to utilize that and advance in bhakti. If we take it light, you never know in next life we'll have this faith or not. Because when we don't utilize it, naturally our faith will get destroyed with time. Because this world is full of ignorance. It's waiting to destroy our faith and whatever little knowledge we have. Yes. Therefore, Krishna is very, very clear. Faith is very important. And those who are not faithful, sorry, either they are destroyed and there is no question of sukha in this life or next life. एकदम गाली जैसे बोल रहा है ना कृष्ण. It's almost saying useless fellow. Okay, let's proceed. So what is the next qualification that a person should have to receive knowledge? This is again from chapter 13, shloka 8. Please repeat. Amanitvam madambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham Sairyam Atma Vinigraha. So after talking about all the 20 items of knowledge, our Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he says, the first word, amanitvam, is very important. A very important qualification to receive knowledge. You know, amanitvam means what? What's amanitvam? Huh? Humility, yes, correct. Humility. Being humble. See, the quality of humility is so wonderful. Those who are humble, they are like that right vessel to receive the blessings, mercy, knowledge. They're the right vessels. In the material world, that thing which goes up comes down. That's what is gravitation all about. Throw anything up, it goes up. Same thing has to come down. But in spiritual world or in spiritual life, or I should put it as in the spiritual circle, spiritual realm, when the entity goes down, it goes up. When we become more and more humble, we become right patra. We have become very much qualified to receive the higher knowledge, and naturally we go higher and higher. Therefore, amanitvam is a very, very important quality. You pick up any great devotee from Srimad Bhagavatam, from Chaitanya Charitamrita, or any contemporary saint, you will find this one important quality, amanitvam, humility. They believe that they are not qualified. That is their greatness. And we, even when we don't have anything, we believe that we are great. That is our disqualification, you see. Therefore, more a person becomes humble, we say that more the person has become qualified. So this is the next qualification, humility. Do you see any difference between humility and depression? Because a person who is humble, he will say that, no, I'm not qualified. I'm not that great. A person who is depressed will also say the same. No, I'm good for nothing. What's the difference between the two? Depressed person is, I'm good for nothing. Humble person also, I'm good for nothing. But then he says, I'm good for nothing, but my Lord is all powerful. He can pick me up. He can help me to attain himself. He can help me to attain the ultimate goal, that is he himself, or service to his lotus feet. Can you imagine? This is the difference between the two. Only one aspect is missing. In the case of a person who is depressed, 50% is already done. What is that other 50%? That is faith on the Lord. That I might be not qualified, but then he is very much qualified and he can lift me. He is all powerful. This is a very, very important quality of humility. Therefore, when we understand our insignificance and when we understand Lord's greatness, that is the time when we jump like anything on the spiritual path. Therefore, these discourses that we have, two things we'll try to realize in most of the discourses. One is how small we are and how great the Lord is. If you're able to understand this much, naturally humility will manifest. So one is amanitvam. And look at the third line. It says Acharya Upasanam. Acharya Upasana means approaching a guru. So this is a very, very important qualification. We started with this, that knowledge is there, that spiritual knowledge which liberates us. There is a channel, Guru, Shishya, Parampara. And we have to get connected to that channel. To get connected to that channel, we have to approach a guru. A bona fide guru who is in this channel or this lineage or parampara. So, how to approach a guru is also very important to note, because that is also pointing towards qualification to receive knowledge. And this Krishna himself is speaking in Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 4, Shloka 34. Very famous shloka, often quoted by Srila Prabhupada, and very nice to dive deeper. Please repeat. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So approaching Guru is important. But how to approach Guru, that is even more important. How to approach a Guru? What is the vidhi that I should follow? First is pranipata, second is pariprashna, and third is seva. So Srila Prabhupada, he says, one has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. This is understood. Then he says, such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender. One should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. And then he says, satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. If he is satisfied, since he is realized, he will be able to impart the same knowledge to me. And therefore Prabhupada writes, inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission, service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. So these are the three important points to note when it comes to approaching a spiritual master. One is pranipata. That's the first word, means submitting oneself. Second, pariprashna, inquire. Third is sevaya, serve. So when we serve for his satisfaction, for the spiritual master's satisfaction, when he is happy, when he is satisfied, he will bless. See, in spiritual life, there's one very, very confidential thing which I would like to share. In spiritual life, if you want to gain higher spiritual understanding, higher realizations, or you want to gain a spiritual quality, and you're able to see that in someone, you know what we're supposed to do? Just go and serve that person. When he's satisfied, by his blessings, अपने आप ही वो transfer हो जाता है. Or let me put it as, अपने आप ही duplicate हो जाता है. Yes. So where I will also get that same quality. That is the crux in spiritual practice. You serve a devotee having the qualities, you also get those qualities. Therefore, Vaishnav Seva, Bhakta Seva is given very, very important or a great importance in spiritual life. Therefore, we will see that service is something that is given topmost priority, specifically service to devotees. And here Prabhupada is saying that. And one more point Prabhupada says, one must be able to pass the test of spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. So when we have genuine desire, and when we approach the spiritual master with that genuine feelings, we serve him, we ask the genuine question to him, when he is pleased, seeing our genuine mood, he'll genuinely bless us. He'll genuinely bless each one of us. So now how to practically do this? First and foremost is pranipata. And what do you mean by pranipat? Pranipat, obviously submit. But the first sign of submission is offer respects by paying dandavat. That's the first thing. Therefore we see, it's so natural in our Vedic culture. As soon as we see someone superior, we bend down to take blessings. Very natural. Hamare system mein hi hai wo. It's there in our system. I don't know about the coming generations, if it's there in the system or not. But at least that chip is there in our system. Where we see a superior, a qualified person, we touch their feet, we bow down in front of them. Then that's the sign of showing respect. So the first thing is pranipad, that is offering respects like offering dandavat. Therefore, as soon as we enter the temple, we offer dandavat to Prabhupada. He's our guru. We offer dandavat to him. And we offer our dandavat to whomever we are learning from. That's the first thing that is mentioned. Second is seva. Serve the devotees like a menial servant for their satisfaction. Serve them. What services we can do? Yes. What services we can do? You can always take the opportunity of serving prasad. Yes. You can always take the opportunity of cleaning the place where people have prasad and get up. It might have become dirty. They clean that particular place. In fact, when you invite some devotees home, you can always request them that, no, I'll take your plate. I'll pick up your plate. Yes. I'll serve. So specifically, doing some services like this. and also at the same time helping in this preaching mission of spreading the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Currently now people are distributing Bhagavad Gita in the marathon season. So this season we call it as marathon, book marathon, where ISKCON volunteers step out on the street and we distribute Bhagavad Gitas to everyone. We convince them to take a Bhagavad Gita. So it's a great service. Why we call it a service? Because Prabhupada wants this to happen. Because he wanted that everyone should get the opportunity to get the knowledge of Gita. So as soon as we distribute the knowledge of Gita, you know what happens? He is pleased. And if he is pleased and if he blesses, oh, what else you want? Naturally will advance in bhakti. So seva, very, very important, seva. Following the instruction of one's own superior, the spiritual authority, that is also seva. Third thing is pariprashna. Then ask question. So you submit, you serve, and then you ask question. Why is it said like this? That you first submit, that is you offer respects, then you serve, then you ask questions. Because you become qualified. You serve that person, you take a lower position. And when you take a lower position, what happens? Naturally, the blessings, mercy, knowledge, everything will flow. Everything will flow. But when our head is always high, sorry. Kuch bhi nahi ghusega sir mein. Nothing will be able to understand. Therefore, you will see, those people who are very proud, they cannot grow in bhakti. Not possible. Not possible at all. Therefore, here, very wonderfully, Krishna is making the point. Pranipata, seva, pariprashna. That is, submit yourself. Second, serve. And third, ask questions. What question should we ask? Should I join this company or that company? Because I have two offers. Is this the question that I'm supposed to ask a spiritual personality? Should I play cricket or should I play chess? What question should I ask?
How to advance in bhakti?
As simple as that. How to advance in bhakti? You have advanced. You have the treasure of bhakti. You please tell how to advance in bhakti. Asking various questions about the Lord from the scriptures. When we ask such questions about the Lord, about our relationship with the Lord, how to advance in bhakti, the process of bhakti itself, that is called as the right question in spiritual circles. That is proper prashna. Even the speaker will become very happy to answer. He will also become very happy. In Srimad Bhagavatam, when Parikshit Maharaj, when he would ask question to his guru Shukadeva Goswami, many questions Parikshit Maharaj asked. Like for example, in one place Parikshit Maharaj is asking, please tell me what activities did Krishna do in Vrindavan? What activities did he do in Mathura? What activities did he do in Dwarka? And Shukadeva Goswami is so happy. He's so happy, he says, wonderful question, wonderful question. मतलब आंसर देने के पहले क्वेश्चन को ग्लोरीफाई किए वो. And then he started answering. Multiple times this has happened in Srimad Bhagavatam. And this shows that the question is proper. Even the speaker is also very happy to answer the question. So this makes the person qualified. So after humility and approaching the spiritual master, what did we discuss? Qualification. How do we approach the spiritual master? Pranipata, seva, pariprashna. Now, one last point about qualification. Please repeat. This is from chapter 10, shloka 10, Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. See, Krishna is saying, Tesham satata yuktanam. Those people who are always engaged in my service. So what Krishna is doing, for them? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I'll give them buddhi. I'll give them intelligence. For what? To come back to me, Krishna is saying. I'll give them intelligence to come back to me. Basically he's saying, I'll give the knowledge. So now, Sometimes people might say that I feel I'm not very intelligent. What should I do? Here is the key. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Continue serving the Lord. Prabhupada makes a very important point here. He says, if a devotee is not very intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, maybe I don't know how to advance in the path of self-realization, but if he is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, 2 points Prabhupada is saying. Sincere, and second is devoted to the activities of devotional service. The Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain him. So one has to be sincere and one has to be devoted to the activities of devotional service. So these are the 2 important qualifications that Krishna is talking about. How to quantify sincerity? What do you say? How to quantify sincerity? How do we understand if I'm sincere or not? Even when no one is saying, I continue doing bhakti. I continue. Second, my goal never changes. It's not that in this situation my goal is this, and in that situation my goal is that. No, my goal is very clear. My goal is bhakti to the Lord. I want to serve the Lord. That's it. That is the goal. And that goal never changes. Come what may, whatever happens in life, this goal never changes. The goal of attaining the Lord in this very life does not change for that person. That's called sincerity. And with that sincerity, he keeps on practicing consistently. For such a person, Krishna does something very, very special. The next shloka of this, 10, 11, Krishna says, Teshamevanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayamyatma bhavasto jnanadipena bhasvata. So here Krishna is saying, Tesham, those people. Who? The ones who are sincere and the ones who are devoted to the Lord's service. For them, Krishna is saying, Eva anukampartham. When I'm very, very pleased with them, what do I do? Aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhasvata. So Krishna is saying, for those people, I destroy the ignorance in their heart. How do I destroy the ignorance in the heart? By lighting the lamp of knowledge. I give the knowledge to them. Krishna is saying this. So therefore, those who are sincere and devoted to the activities of bhakti, they are the ones who become the right candidate to receive the mercy of the Lord. And that mercy, Krishna showers onto us by revealing the knowledge to us. And when Krishna reveals, that is called as realization. Till then it just remains information or understanding. When Krishna reveals, that becomes realization. Therefore, these are the different qualifications to receive the knowledge. Knowledge means spiritual knowledge. And how do we receive that? Through the channel. That is Guru disciplic succession. And to receive that knowledge, I should be qualified. And these are the qualifications that we have discussed today. Let's quickly revise all the qualifications. And actually, these are basics which we have discussed today, so that we can try to implement in our day-to-day life. What is the first one that we discussed? One has to be a friend and a devotee. Friend, attached to Krishna. Devotee, surrendered to Krishna. Third, one has to be non-envious of Krishna and his part and parcels. Fourth, one should steadily practice bhakti. Consistency. Steadily practice Shuddha Bhakti. Fifth, one has to be Shraddhavan, one has to be faithful, one has to have faith in scriptures. Sixth, one has to be sense controlled. If senses are not under control, we'll remain disturbed unnecessarily. We'll not be able to advance. Seventh, one has to be humble. One has to be humble. One cannot be proud of anything. One can be proud of only one thing. You know what? Proud of, I'm Das of Krishna. One can be proud of being the servant of Krishna, servant of Vaishnavas. And then one should approach the Guru. How to approach the Guru? 3 points. Pranipat, submit oneself. Seva, and third, Pariprashna. What prashna we should ask? Spiritual questions. How to advance in bhakti. And finally, the last quality that we discussed was sincerity and devoted to the activities of bhakti. Therefore, if we sincerely practice bhakti under the guidance of a bona fide, advanced spiritualist, Guru, we will keep advancing in bhakti, and in just a matter of some time, we'll attain the ultimate destination. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.